The monthly reward card for April has been officially revealed, and it is Seasoned Captain. Now, this is a 4-cost, 4/4 creature in Strength. It's a Redguard, and it has Rally, and it says whenever you rally, you can give an item in your hand +1/+1. Now, it is a random +1/+1, just like the Rally effect. It's not tied directly to Rally, and what I mean by that is that if you have a creature with Rally 2, let's say like Inspiring Kinsman, you'll still only get +1/+1, but it is worth noting that it is whenever you rally, not whenever Seasoned Captain rallies. So essentially, if you have multiple rally creatures on the board, you play Seasoned Captain, you can rack up some triggers pretty quickly with this card. Now, I say officially revealed because most of what this card does was kind of already leaked through some data mining earlier in the month. At least the text on the card was pretty well known, but now that we know this card has Rally, so it can trigger itself, that's kind of nice, things like that. So when would we consider using this? Well, that's the tough part for me, because I think that the card itself is interesting, and I think that it can generate a lot of value hypothetically. As I said, because it's whenever you rally, if you've got, even just 2 creatures on the board with Rally when you play this, you could play this, get your 2 rally triggers, and then that makes, for example, like a Steel Scimitar, if it's the only item in your hand, jump up to a +4/+4. That's a lot of reach, right? You can generate insane value there, and that's not even counting, future rally potential on the items in your hand. Now, the problem is that, in my opinion, there's just not many rally creatures that are seeing play right now, and this card, though potentially powerful, I don't think is going to make me start playing the rally creatures I was already not playing before. So, when you want to get value out of this card, I think you want to look at the cards that would be either in play shortly thereafter, or more ideally already in play when you play this. The idea being that you, like I said, have 1 or 2 creatures with Rally in play, you play Seasoned Captain, and then you get immediate triggers. So, Serethi Scion is the 1/1 for 1 with Rally. Historically has not seen a ton of play. Old Velothi Assassin does see play. Warclaw Mercenary, historically not a lot of play. I have seen it played in some Redoran decks, like as a fringe card. Bolvin Venom, again in Redoran, obviously, because it's a Redoran only card. I do see play from time to time, but I just don't see a lot of Redoran played, and then when I do, it's not always the mid-rangey type of Redoran, so Bolvin actually doesn't see as much play as you would think. Cool Lawkeeper, cool card, pun intended. But again, just not necessarily a ton of play, because it's in that weird play style where a lot of value in terms of stats in the card. A 1/6 body for 3 is nothing to laugh at, and then it has both Rally and Guard, but Execute has risen in popularity as of late, which makes it a little less valuable. And then on top of that, if you're playing something where you're trying to get a lot of rallies, playing a big 1/6 Guard isn't necessarily aggressive, so it's just in that weird position. The Knight just doesn't see a lot of play, at least in my experience. Then you have things like the Battle Spear, which is an arena standout, but doesn't see a lot of constructed play. And then even if you're going to the 4-cost cards, Arms Master, fringe playable. Kinsman traditionally does see play in Redoran, just because with the Last Gasp, you very often at least get some value out of that card. So when you're looking at that list, what are you looking to play? It sounds like Redoran, right? Because then at least there you get Bolvin Venom, you get Kinsman, and you get to play Old Velothi Assassin, and maybe Cool Lawkeeper, and that's about it. And the problem is that if you're playing Redoran, unless you're playing some sort of new wave Redoran, you're not typically running a ton of items. So you might be running like Cloak and Dagger, you might be running Steel Scimitar, Dawnbreaker is probably on that list. But that's about it. And so to get this perfect storm of value out of Seasoned Captain, you have to be running, these rally creatures in a 75 card deck that you're not likely to run into a bunch of them like on curve, and be running Seasoned Captain and run into that on curve, and be running items enough to run into that on curve. That just doesn't seem likely to me. So Other fun stuff, right? Like, I think Item Battle Mage and potentially Item Sorcerer are both really solid decks, but obviously Seasoned Captain doesn't fit into Sorcerer, so then you would have to go to something like Daggerfall Covenant. And if you're running Daggerfall Covenant, yeah, you're going to have the items, you're going to have a lot of item synergy, but you're not going to have the rally side. So playing Seasoned Captain in a deck where you're probably, if I'm being honest, only also running Ald Velothi Assassin that has rally and that's about it, isn't going to feel super impactful. You're going to play Seasoned Captain more often than not and then pray that it survives just to get one attack off with the Seasoned Captain to also give the +1/+1 to an item in your hand. And that just doesn't feel very good to me. Same thing with Battle Mage, right? It's the exact same issue. In Battle Mage, you're not likely running the Sarathi Scion, so your only hope in Battle Mage, and it sounds weird, this actually might be where you're more likely to get value out of anything, but if you're running Battle Mage, you're probably running a lot of the blue effects that can generate random keywords, and so you're hoping for Manic Jack or Royal Sage or something like that to give you rally so that your Seasoned Captain can get immediate value, or you're just hoping it lives for a turn. So I don't know, like, I want to be excited about the card because it finally gives Rally some additional support. I think Rally is, in theory, a pretty cool mechanic. It's one of the, like, slow snowball mechanics where, like, you get something on the board and then if it sticks, it starts generating more value that you can then leverage, and then so on and so forth. Like, I like the idea of it in principle, and I think supporting it is cool. And I like that in many ways this is like a... So thematically, from a design standpoint, I like that this takes two different mechanics and tries to tie them together, right? This is a rally for items, if you will. So this lets you take item decks in theory and rally decks in theory and kind of mishmash them, right? But as cool as it is in theory, I think right now there's just not enough to support it in actual execution. Seasoned Captain, in my mind, is going to be one of those cards that is okay right now, but it's one of those cards you keep your eye on for the future. And as other cards get released, there's a chance that this card goes from being okay to potentially being very good or very powerful. But it's going to be tied to two things. The number of items that are going to be playable in decks that you would want to run Seasoned Captain, because you want to get the value on the items, and the number of rally creatures that cost less than 4, in my opinion. To me, I think that's where the real value in this card lies. Is, you know, did I play creatures before I played Seasoned Captain that have, one, have rally, and two, been able to survive long enough so that I can play Seasoned Captain, get those immediate attacks to get the rally value going on the items, and then go from there. So that's my opinion anyway. That's my assessment. I do, like I said, think that there is an awful lot of potential value here. If, for example, we ever got a card that was like Thieves' Den for rally. So if we ever got a support that just gave your creatures rally, as opposed to like your creatures pilfer +1/+1, then something like Seasoned Captain skyrockets in combo potential value. It goes from like an okay card to being more like Master of Thieves, which is, you know, one of those cards that is also just kind of okay unless you build around it, and then Master of Thieves can be an outright bomb. So if we ever got something like that, for example, then you could get a lot of value onto an item very quickly and then set up an awful lot of reach and so on and so forth. But until we get something like that, or until we get just cheaper creatures that have rally in abundance, Seasoned Captain is okay for me. It's not necessarily inspiring me at the moment to build any new decks. I don't think that it's going to make the cut in existing decks because, let's be honest, and I've said this in some videos in the past, right now, as far as the meta goes, Legends is entirely a game about immediate value. If your cards are not generating you immediate value, or not setting you up for some sort of exponential tempo burst, and what I mean by that are things that give you Magicka ramp, right? And even then, they give you some immediate value, but cards that Magicka ramp are the sort of thing where you're setting yourself up for big plays later. If you're not doing those things in Legends right now, you're just not playing Legends correctly. You either need immediate value now, and that's, you know, aggressive decks that are getting immediate value, flooding the board, getting that reach damage in, or you've got to get some sort of big power spike out of ramp, or you just have to win the game from hand. Like, that is that is the meta right now for Legends, as you know, blunt as I can be about it. Most of your decks are trying to win the game from hand, or race decks that are trying to win the game from hand. Everything is about immediate value. And right now, Season Captain, as cool as it is, doesn't have enough ways to give it good immediate value right now. So as other cards get printed that can do that, great. If we ever get set rotations and it becomes less a game about immediate value and we go back to more grindy attrition Legends, then maybe it finds a home there. But right now, I just, you know, outside of like fun theme decks, things like that, like if you really want to build like the all rally deck, have at it. If you're playing like Redguard Tribal because you want to role play something, sweet, you got an awesome new Redguard. You know, the art is great, things like that. But right now, in terms of like competitive play, it's just not gonna enable new decks, and it's not gonna fit into existing decks, in my opinion. So that is my assessment. I would love to hear what you think about it. Is there something that I'm forgetting? Because, you know, I don't know everything. Is there a deck that you do want to try it in? So on and so forth. I do read the comments. Even if I don't respond to them all, I do read them all. So anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. And until next time, may you walk on warm sands.